Man, listen, Shedeur we talked about it, Earl. He's talented. Like, he has all the talent and the ability you want. He has the leadership qualities you need.
He's got it all. The skills, the swagger, the brains. This guy moves like a leader who's been running the show for years. The NFL wasn't ready for this storm to hit. A rookie quarterback, barely 7 practices deep into his very first pro training camp, struts onto the field and starts tearing apart defensive schemes like it's child's play.
He still broke records that your Pro Bowler and Super Bowl contestants haven't even touched in the NFL level.
Shedeur was my 20th player. He's a first-round caliber player. Like, talent-wise, both those guys, I think, have a huge advantage over Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett has to be light years better.
He's reading coverages before the snap even happens. Mid-play, he's shredding blitz packages and burning defensive backs who were supposed to embarrass him, and making them look like the rookies instead. But here's the wild part. Shedeur Sanders wasn't even supposed to be in this position yet. He's not the starter, not even officially the backup. Yet in just 1 week, he's muscled his way into the spotlight, making NFL vets and top analysts whisper, "Is this kid cracking the code?"
He's an actual proven talent. He's proven that every single team you put him on, he becomes better.
When Shedeur Sanders signed his rookie deal with the Cleveland Browns, most people barely flinched. On paper, it looked routine. A standard rookie contract, 4 years, slotted salary, nothing flashy, no jaw-dropping signing bonus, just the kind of deal you give a middle-round quarterback. But behind the scenes, this wasn't about just dollars and cents. It was a chess move.
My expectations have absolutely changed. Absolutely. My expectations have changed because a lot of what we're hearing from Cleveland has changed again.
The way the deal was structured told a different story, a bigger one. The Browns were clearly playing a long game. Buried deep in the fine print were performance triggers, hidden incentives that could send Shedeur's paycheck skyrocketing if he hit the field early and made an impact. That's not something you throw into a contract for a so-called developmental quarterback. It left people asking one big question.
The information that was out on Shedeur Sanders came from a lot of people that a lot of people trust and people think that are credible.
Did the Browns already know he might grab that starting spot faster than anyone expected? He just kept leveling up. Some insiders swore this was the Browns quietly admitting they knew his upside was insane, even if they weren't ready to go public with it. Others called it a slick insurance move, a just-in-case play if their quarterback room started falling apart. Either way, that contract wasn't just paperwork, it was a signal. And over the next few weeks, Shedeur made it look like the Browns front office had inside info the rest of the league completely missed.
And it's that branding, bro, being a walking business brand. He's a 5th-round pick, and he generated damn near well over $300 million already in merchandise sale.
Day 7 of training camp wasn't supposed to be some defining moment, at least not for Shedeur Sanders. The game plan was simple. Toss him a few second-team reps, let him get comfy, slowly stack his workload. But football doesn't stick to scripts, it rewrites them in real time. That morning, Cleveland's first-team defense, one of the nastiest, most aggressive units in the NFL, lined up across from him. Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, Grant Delpit, all staring dead at a rookie who hadn't even touched a preseason snap. This wasn't just a test, it was straight-up trial by fire. Most rookie QBs crack right there, holding the ball too long, forcing ugly throws, or freezing when the pocket caves in. But Shedeur? Nah. He went surgical. Quick reads, pinpoint timing, laser-accurate passes that had veterans raising their eyebrows. By the end of the session, he'd stacked drive after drive without the rookie mistakes coaches expect. They weren't just seeing a promising young quarterback anymore. They were staring at a competitor who didn't blink at NFL speed or big-time pressure.
People are trying to assign from a personality standpoint to Shedeur Sanders, and I think that's incredibly unfair to the young man.
And suddenly, that quiet contract clause didn't feel so hypothetical anymore. Word started spreading fast, and because in the NFL, players notice everything. And when a rookie starts messing with the rhythm of camp, people talk, and they don't stop. After day 7, cameras caught a few of the Browns' defensive vets grinning, shaking their heads like they'd just seen a magic trick. Myles Garrett was overheard telling a teammate, "He's not supposed to be reading that coverage yet." That wasn't shade, that was pure respect. Even the offensive vibe started flipping. Wideouts who came into camp locked in on building chemistry with the starters suddenly started hanging around after practice, just to catch extra passes from Shedeur. Nobody told them to.
So I'm looking at Shedeur Sanders, and I'm understanding that that man's cerebral mindset is not only on the field. It's off the field, the networking, the building of the brand, the understanding of, okay, the NFL could reject you at any given time. So leverage is always the key.
They wanted to, and while the coaching staff stayed quiet in public, the reps told the real story. By the very next practice, Shedeur wasn't just running with the second-team offense. He was sliding in with first-team receivers, going head-to-head with the starting defense. That was a clear test to see if Day 7 was a one-time lightning strike or the spark of something massive. In the NFL, rookies earn respect with consistency, not just one hot day, but with Shedeur, you could feel it. He was already winning over the locker room, and here's where it gets juicy. In Cleveland, this QB story wasn't just unfolding on the field, it started taking shape in the owner's box. Jimmy Haslam, known for being hands-on, sometimes even controversial with his team calls, reportedly locked in on Shedeur after hearing about his Day 7 fireworks. Sources inside the Browns claimed Haslam was up late, glued to practice footage, rewinding plays just to study Shedeur's decision-making and ice-cold poise under pressure. Then came the line that sent the whole building buzzing. While casually chatting with a small group of reporters, Haslam dropped, "When you see a young guy process that fast, you've got to at least think about the future sooner than later." Boom. That one sentence was a grenade. Was the owner hinting at a legit quarterback battle?
I do think he has earned the opportunity because he throws an incredibly good ball, a very catchable ball, and he's just so accurate. His ball placement is excellent. They had us play.
Or was it just a throwaway comment that got spun into drama? Either way, Shedeur didn't care, because the takeaway was crystal clear. He wasn't just catching the eyes of his teammates anymore. The highest seat in the franchise had taken notice, and that could flip the entire Browns season on its head. For Shedeur Sanders, the heat wasn't just coming from the pass rush. It was coming from every single direction. Inside the locker room, veterans were whispering about whether this rookie's sudden rise was a blessing or a ticking time bomb. Some loved his swagger and fearless energy. Others worried he might be shaking up a quarterback room that was supposed to be calm and locked in for the season. The coaching staff, they were walking a tightrope. Publicly, they swore the depth chart hadn't budged. Privately, they were huddled up, reviewing practice film frame by frame, searching for proof that Shedeur's breakout was more than just a lucky streak, and every time he dropped a crisp dart or nailed a perfect read, it only made the conversations louder. Then there was the media, circling like hawks, dissecting every snap, every sideline glance, every offhand comment. On social media, clips of Shedeur threading impossible passes were going viral within minutes, igniting wild fan debates and stirring up speculation that the Browns might have stumbled onto their future franchise QB completely by accident. In just over a week, Shedeur had flipped from rookie curiosity to the most talked about player in Cleveland. And the buzz? It wasn't slowing down. It was snowballing. Every rookie eventually hits that crossroads, the moment where hype and reality collide. For Shedeur Sanders, that moment was already rushing toward him like a blitz. The Browns had a full contact scrimmage on the books against their ferocious first-team defense, a group loaded with Pro Bowl talent and anchored by the unstoppable Myles Garrett. No more light drills, no more limited contact. This was the closest thing to a real NFL war zone without a scoreboard. And for Shedeur, it was the ultimate gut check. For Shedeur, this wasn't just another practice, this was the day. Coaches would be watching every single snap like it was game film for the Super Bowl. The owner, sitting right there in the stands, locked in, and the vets he'd been grinding to win over, they were ready to see if the rookie's swagger held up when the heat got real. If he balled out, the QB competition could flip overnight. If he stumbled, the narrative could turn on a dime, from future franchise leader to needs years before he's ready. Around camp, the whispers were loud. This was unofficial decision day. One performance could tear up the depth chart or lock it in for good. And Shedeur? He knew exactly what was at stake. The only question was, could he deliver when it mattered most? The whistle blew, and on the very first snap, you already had your answer. Shedeur wasn't out there to survive. He came to take over. On the opening drive, Myles Garrett exploded off the line with that deadly burst that eats rookie QBs alive. Most young guys panicked there, but not Shedeur. He slid out left, cool as ice, and rifled a 20-yard dart into tight coverage for a first down. The sideline went wild. Play after play, he carved up one of the NFL's most feared defenses. Deadly timing on routes, crisp lasers over the middle, and a deep bomb so perfect it left the safety standing there in disbelief. Blitzes came from both edges and his composure never even wavered. He read, reacted, and ripped throws like a veteran in mid-season form. By the time the scrimmage wrapped, Shadow had stacked multiple scoring drives. But more importantly, he'd earned something no contract could buy: respect. Veterans who'd been doubting him were dapping him up. Coaches were huddled, trading those quiet, loaded looks that said, "We might have a problem," or "We might have our answer." And the critics? The ones calling him overhyped just a week ago, suddenly they had nothing to say. The rookie who was never supposed to be in the fight had just made it a real war for the starting job. Now the Browns front office is staring down a decision that could make a franchise or blow it to pieces. On paper, Deshaun Watson is the investment you protect at all costs. The massive contract, the guaranteed money, the public commitment, all of it screams he's your guy. But on the field, Shedeur Sanders is making it impossible to ignore the truth everybody's seeing. He's straight up outplaying the veteran. Pull the trigger too early, and you risk wrecking team chemistry, alienating your highest paid player, and sending shockwaves through the locker room. Wait too long, and you could waste the lightning in a bottle momentum of a rookie who clearly has it. Right now, the fan base is split down the middle. Half are yelling for the Browns to ride the hot hand and finally gamble on upside instead of clinging to sunk costs. The other half swears benching Watson this early would be a total disaster, proof the team can't stick to a plan. No matter what choice they make, there's no turning back. If Shadow starts and wins, the future arrives early. If they bench him, every loss will pour gasoline on the fire. Either way, Cleveland's about to learn what happens when hype turns into hard reality. The Browns can stall, but in the NFL, time doesn't just run out, it tackles you. Every throw Shadow rips, every drive he finishes, cranks the whispers into full-blown chants. The vets feel it, the coaches feel it, and the fans, they're living it. And in Cleveland, a city starving for a football savior, momentum like this doesn't fade. It explodes. The next snap Shadow takes could launch a new era or crack the Browns' carefully built plan wide open. And once that first crack hits, the collapse is only a matter of time. The Browns have a choice to make, but they'd better make it fast, because every single day Shedeur Sanders isn't starting, the storm gets louder and louder. If you're loving this story, make sure you like, share, comment your thoughts, and subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter in this saga. See you on the next one.